Hello everybody, welcome back to another unbagging unboxing. This is nice. I have do not bend on the package. I'm glad that Jeff Valent Superior Pod did this, because I have an ongoing battle with the post office that they like to try and take my games, magazines with counters and things, bend them and stick them in the box. This, fortunately, I found on the porch step and was able to bring it in the home safely. So let's see what we got. It's always satisfying to rip open and then reveal Red Horde 1920 Brian Train game. Excellent. This is from Tiny Battle Publishing, so thank you Mark Walker and Beck Snyder for... I got distracted for a moment. I found a small pole machine gun for a Panther tank. Let me set that off to the side. Red Horde. This is one of the latest games from Tiny Battle Publishing. You know, I film these videos kind of upside down, so I'm like presenting them to you, but it takes me forever to get things in focus, so I apologize for that. It's probably really annoying, but it makes it easier for me instead of having the camera like hang over my head. But this is one of the latest games from Tiny Battle Publishing. There's their logo. They just came out, in addition to Red Horde, they also have Operation Icarus. So this is one of the newer games that they put out. It says, operational level combat in the height of the Polish-Soviet War. Nice. So 1920. Wow. I gotta be honest, this is kind of a history I don't know much about. And specifically the game I don't know a whole lot about either. But let's take it out of the bag and see what we get. Let me just struggle. There we go. I'm trying to do it without ripping the contents here. So there's the plastic bag. Thank you. And here's the rule book. First of all, I love the artwork. Fantastic. It looks like they took badges. You got your Russian side, you got the Polish side. Now, if I remember, just going off my memory, my brain, I think Brian Train also did, oh, now I can't even think of it, Pocket, darn, it was like a World War II operational, yeah, I lost my brain. But the name is familiar to me, so I remember playing the game, I just can't remember the name of the game. So this is the description of the game. Ah, here's your history. Okay, great. So on the back of the rule book, here's a history of what we're gaming. Link can't click, but there's the address for tinybattlepublishing.com. I don't know if they have a print and play version of this out. I didn't check. You can go check their website, maybe check wargamevault.com, and you print and play people might be able to purchase this, or you know, just get the printed game from Tiny Battle Publishing. So there's the rule book. So this is nice. This is continued. They've really, lately, the last few books I've gotten, they're really good quality feeling. I love the paper they're using. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's really nice. Great layout. Yeah, I think the last thing I opened was like the expansion for the World War I, the platoon warfare. The game had like 1916. Anyway, it had a nice layout as well. That's what I like about the rule books. They're not cluttered. I know it's 2 pages, but the rules aren't cluttered. They're colored. They got great examples of counters, nice chits, morale. Yeah, again, they're not dense. They're not rules dense. This is, so if we start on page, pages are stuck together here. So your page 1 isn't labeled. I know some people say, well, if it's 10 pages, you don't count page 1 because it's blank. Page 2 is a table of contents. So your rules actually start on page 3 over here, and they go all the way to page 13. Well, 14 looks like it has a example of play a little bit here, or last bit of rules. So 13 full pages of rules, then page 14's got a last little bit of a rule and an example. So that's still pretty rules light. Let's say that's a pretty good page size for Tiny Battle Publishing. But again, nicely laid out, easy to read, 2 columns. Yeah, even looking at it upside down. Very, very nice. Alright, so there's the rules. Now the counters. This is a nice counter sheet. Usually with Tiny Battle Publishing you get, it's like maybe a sheet like this and it's cut in half and it's like 88. So this might be, let's see, does it say, I don't see where it says how many. Let's see, sometimes it tells me how many counters we get because I don't want to count. Oh, if it does tell me there are 176 counters. Great, 176 counters. Here's the front of them. Oop, I just pushed on some and they popped out. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the back. So some of these disrupt. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can all see the amazing artwork. So I had some disrupts. Looks like some artillery, aircraft. There's some train counters down here on the bottom. Also looks like NATO symbols. Infantry, maybe cavalry. I have to admit, I'm not well versed on NATO symbology. I'm more of a picture guy, but I'll figure out what the different symbols are. Now the counters, when I picked this up, they just started to pop out. And trust me, this for me is an important part of the game. I have gotten my fair share of games where I've tried to pop counters out and they stick either horribly to the sprue or they stick to each other, and then as you try to separate them, if you don't get scissors to try and cut them apart, you end up tearing the paper. And so I just punched in a few spots and they're going to come right out. So before I tear this apart more, I'll go get some plastic baggies or something so I can capture these. Yeah, see, here's a couple that came apart, but they separate really good. So I will say, every single game I get lately from Tiny Battle Publishing, the counter quality improves each time. So that's always a good thing for me because I am crazy about counters. So we'll set those aside. Then we have a nice, oh, this is a nice thick cardstock combat results table. See, it says standard, shock, combat shifts. Of course I haven't read all these, but it looks like possible combat modifiers. It says like retreats, disruptions, advances. Oh, hey, I remember. Nope, I don't. I had a thought. Maybe, but did Brian Train do? I had to go. Oh, it's buried. It would take me a while to find it. Is this combat? No. Okay, never mind. I had a thought, completely lost it. But anyway, there's a dice roll, modifiers. Alright, so your combat chart, and then also on the back you've got reinforcement chart, replacement calculation chart, reinforcements, replace. I guess you can get reconstitute units as you play. Alright. Then we have the second sturdy cardstock. You have an expanded sequence of play, and then down below it's got the setup chart, and then we have a map key on the back. So your artwork actually is pretty good. Here, I'm just going to adjust the camera because we're going to pull the map out here in just a second. So there you go. There's two double-sided play aids. Nice, very good. And then here's the map. So I haven't unfolded it yet. But here we are. It's got Red Horde on it, 1920, with Air Forces. So this is fascinating to me. My son has a fascination with World War I aircraft just because he likes biplanes and things like that. 1920 then, I don't ever really think about air power as being a thing until much later. But yeah, if you think about it, the way things progressed, air power was pretty important to World War I, which was, What was that? That went from like 1914 to 1918. So 1920, just being a couple years after the end of the First War, they're probably still putting a lot of emphasis on research in aircraft. So over here there's white Air Forces, red Air Forces. How exactly you use that with the chits and how they play in the game, I had to learn. But it's just interesting to I hadn't really considered that before. It's almost as if my brain said, yeah, there was a vacuum in air power until, you know, from the end of World War I. But no, they probably were developing and working on aircraft all this time. So here we have on here, there's a random events table. Nice. So right here baked into the map, you've got that. Also down here you've got your turn track. This is actually a very glossy paper. So I don't want to say it's like a regular paper map, so it's flimsy like a paper map, but has a very high gloss to it, which you can kind of see here in the reflection. So this will hold up to some play. Also, the artwork, again, some really nice artwork. At the bottom of the map, as I shift things around, we have a morale tracker. There's also a morale level adjustment summary. So morale must play a very big part in this game as well. So again, a fairly good sized map. I have here, this is like a standard sheet of paper. So if I was to move this, you know, couple sheets of paper size. So it's a pretty good playing area that you have. Let's just move this here so you can see it. So again, good sized map. It's got some play aids baked into the sides of the map for you. It looks great. Well, there you go. So there's the map. Okay, now we'll just try and fold everything back up carefully. You got your map. Fold that away. You get 2 player aid cards, double-sided. You get 176 mostly double-sided counters. There are a few that are blank. Some of them have a backside, which is just like a logo of the nation they're attached to, but that's about it. I'd say maybe half of them actually have, maybe less than half have actual combat statistics on the backside. So yeah, there's 176 counters, and then some are double-sided. And then you have your rule book, all in another great package. So very excited to see how this plays. You know, if I have opportunity, I can do just a sample, you know, here's how the game plays out. But otherwise, it looks pretty good. And that's that. So thank you for tuning in and watching. That's Red Horde 1920 by Tiny Battle Publishing. Go check out their website and see what other games they got. Yeah, so just another shout out for them. They've got quite a few games now. If you go, you're going to find they have a few solitaire games. They got science fiction. They got horror type Swamp Bayou things. They've got some zombie games, but they all come in the bags. They're kind of portable games, so definitely worth checking out and seeing what they've got. Historical, they got World War II, they've got Civil War, they've got you know, kind of medievalish warfare. They got some modern stuff, semi-futuristic with like Sticks and Stones from Mark Walker. So quite a few game options for you to check out. And you can also find a lot of them for you print and play enthusiasts on Wargame Vault. You can get them there, and then you can play them however you want. And that's about it. Alright, so have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.